Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kelly, and for today's video we're going to be doing my February reading wrap-up. I read 10 books and I DNF'd one, so I have all of my ratings here. Let me just pull up my little list here. Alright, so yeah, I read 10 books and let's just get started. Let me know what your favorite read is that you read in February and any books that you are looking forward to be reading soon. And yeah, let's get into it. So I started off the month with a chunk of a book. I read the third Crescent City book, House of Flame and Shadow. I was so excited for this. I actually finished the second book just in time for this one. And I was just so excited. I ended up giving this book a 4.5. I don't know if this one was my favorite. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, honestly, so far, because Crescent City isn't my favorite Sarah J. Maas series. If I were to rank them right now, I would say Throne of Glass is on like another level. And then I would say ACOTAR, and then I would say Crescent City. As of right now, Crescent City and ACOTAR aren't finished, so it's hard to like rank them all. But I think those would be my rating. I loved the way that this story wrapped up for now. The ending didn't like leave in a cliffhanger, which I was really glad about. The only reason it's not a 5-star is because there was so much info dumping, and we already got so much info dumping in the first and the second book. So it was just a lot of information, and I found myself being confused a lot in this series, which I didn't really feel that way with Throne of Glass or ACOTAR. And another thing is there are so many point of view switch ups. Like in one paragraph you'll be in someone else's point of view and then it switches, and it was just confusing. But other than that, I really loved this story, and there's two characters in here that really just made this book chef's kiss. I feel like all the stars are for them. I don't know, I really loved it, and I'm excited for the next one. I think the next book is going to be my favorite probably, so I'm really excited for that. 4.5 stars, had a really good time. I actually listened to this on audiobook because I feel like if I was to read this book on my own, it would have probably taken me the whole month. So there's that. Next, I am continuing the Royal Elite series. So I read Black Knight by Rena Kent. This is following Kimmy and Xander. I am a Xander hater through and through. I gave this book 4.75 stars, all for Kimberly. Her story made me absolutely sob my eyes out. I felt for her. I related to her character so much, and I completely ate this book up. Xander, I did not like him. I did not like the way that he treated Kimberly, and I don't know. He just really rubbed me the wrong way, and I can't stand him. So all the stars for Kimberly. I really loved her character and her story, and she was such a strong character, but her story broke my heart. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. This book made me probably sob the whole entire time I was reading it. It was an emotional one. So yeah, 4.75. I was honestly going back and forth between a 5-star, but I don't think I can give the book a 5-star if I didn't like the main male character. So then I was like in between a 4.5 and a 4.75. But I have not been able to stop thinking about this book since I read it. So I'm giving it 4.75 stars. Alright, so next we get into the books that were on my TBR for the month. I read Collided by Lauren Asher. This book has been on my TBR for so freaking long, and I kept putting it off because I didn't love the first one, which is Throttled. And I haven't heard the best things about this book as well. This book, you're following Sophie and Liam. I hated this book. I hated this book more than I hated the first one. The MMC Liam gave me the biggest ick, I think, in like chapter 2. It was so bad. He gave me the ick the whole entire book. I didn't like his character. I did not feel the romantic connection between Sophie and Liam. I thought it was completely physical, a physical attraction, and it was just boring. I don't know. This book didn't give. I gave it 2 stars. Was not my favorite. I don't know if this series is for me. I've heard that Wrecked and Redeemed are people's favorite. I only have Wrecked. I haven't bought and Redeemed yet. So I don't know if I'm going to continue this series or not. If I keep seeing amazing things on the other 2 books, maybe I will, but I did not like the first or the second one, so I don't know yet. So 2 stars for Collided. I feel like I was skimming towards the end as well because it was just so boring. and the characters just like really annoyed me. Next book. This is an emotional one. So I read Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I actually was able to get this book before it released. It actually, Barnes & Nobles didn't have like the strict release date, so when they got the copies in, they were able to put them out. So I actually read this before it even came out. I gave this book 4.5 stars. The only reason I didn't give it 5 stars is because it didn't give me that 5-star feeling, and I think that I liked the other one better. Magnolia Parks. What was the third one called? Magnolia Park. I can't think of the third one. But the third book in the series I think is my favorite, and I gave that one 5 stars. So I didn't like this one as much as that one, so I only gave it 4.5 stars. But the story made me sob my eyes out. It honestly picked up right where you left off in that book. And getting to see Magnolia and BJ get their happy ending was just everything and more. I loved it. And yeah, 4.5. It was a good read. I tabbed the crap out of this book though and like highlighted a bunch of stuff because Jessa Hastings' writing is just so beautiful, and there's so many good quotes in this book. The one thing I did not like about this was the way that Magnolia's, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a certain topic in here that they don't really wrap up or handle, in my opinion, in the best way. So 4.5 stars. I still liked the third one better. I loved that we got to see Magnolia and BJ happy, and I'm excited for the next Daisy Hates book because those books are my favorite. So 4.5. Alright, next I'm not going to talk about these books as much because I have a whole reading vlog on me reading the Cat and Mouse duet, Haunting and Hunting Adeline. I gave this book 4 stars. I really liked the story. I liked the writing. And yeah, it was really great. And then in between Haunting and Hunting Adeline, I read Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is Ali Hazelwood's first YA book. Her other books are young adult, or not, that's YA. This book is YA. Her other books are adult. Is that the genre? New adult? I don't know, something like that. This is young adult. That's all I meant, was trying to get my point across. That was what I meant. Oh my goodness. What's wrong with me? I don't know. Anyways, so I read this between Haunting and Hunting Adeline because Hunting Adeline was so dark and it needed something that was light and fluffy. So I picked this book up. I listened to this on audiobook through Spotify, and I really liked this book. I gave this book a 3.75 stars. It would have been rated higher if it wasn't classified as YA. There were so many like topics of like sex and stuff, and just like topics you wouldn't see in a YA book. Don't get me wrong, like I didn't mind that stuff, but it was classified as YA, you know what I mean? So that's kind of why I rated it a little bit lower, and it wasn't my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. I feel like my favorites are Love Theoretically and Love on the Brain? No, The Love Hypothesis. The Love Hypothesis and Love Theoretically are my favorites. This one was still cute, and I really liked the premise. So you're following Mallory, and she is a really good chess player, and she stops playing for some reason that you'll find out in the book. But her friend is doing this thing for like charity, and they're playing like chess, and she asks Mallory to play just for charity. She's not gonna like go back into it or anything, and then she gets like this job offer, and it goes from there. I really liked it. 3.75. It was a cute read. It was definitely what I needed in the middle of Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Then I went back into the Cat and Mouse duet and I read Hunting Adeline. I gave this book 5 stars. I have not been able to stop thinking about this book since I finished it. Adeline's story really just broke my heart, and I really felt for her, and this book is a lot. Please check your trigger warnings if you're going to read this duet. It is very dark, and it deals with very dark topics, so please take those seriously. This is probably going to be a Roman Empire book that I think about all the time. H.G. Carlton really did a fantastic job with this book and with the topics that were dealt with in this. So yeah, 5 stars. Really loved this. This is probably one of my favorite books I read this month. Then I read You with the View by Jessica Joyce, and I gave this book 5 stars. We had 2 5-star books back to back, which I'm really excited about. I loved this story. So you are following Theo and Noelle. That's her name, right? Yes, Noelle. And Noelle's grandmother recently passed away, and she finds out that her grandmother used to be in a relationship with this guy, and she found like these pictures of her with somebody else, and she posts this video on TikTok basically like looking for him so she can get like more closure from like her grandmother passing away. And she ends up finding the guy that her grandmother used to be like really in love with, and he shows her all these like letters and stuff, and they go on this little trip. Oliver is really loud right now. Say hello. Go up here. So they end up going on this trip that her grandmother and Paul were supposed to go on, and they never did. And they go on this trip together, her, Paul, and Theo, and you get like the little romantic connection. This book was so good. The banter between Theo and Noelle was absolutely everything. It had me kicking my feet, giggling. I just ate this book up. I tabbed it as well, and I had the best time reading this. I actually listened to this on Spotify as well, and I feel like that enhanced my reading experience with this book. And also the cover is absolutely stunning. Everything about this book is beautiful. And the banter honestly reminded me of Emily Henry's banter with her characters, so I really loved this book. Also, this author has a new book coming out later on this year that I have seen people get the ARC for, and people have been raving about it, and I'm so jealous because I want to read more stuff by her. Her writing was amazing. The way that she wrote this story was so beautiful, with this character going through grief, and it was just portrayed so beautifully, and like I said, I had the best time reading this book. 5 stars. Now we're getting into our final 2 reads of the month. Oliver's coming back on me. So the next book I picked up is Losers by Harley LaRue, and I was a little bit nervous going into this book. This is a Wide Shoes romance, and I've never read a Wide Shoes ever before, so I didn't really know if I was going to love this book going into it, but I ate this book up, you guys. Oh my goodness, so good. So you're basically following Jess and 4 other guys who are known as the Losers, and Jess she used to be prom queen, and she actually used to bully all 4 of the guys in high school. And one day Jess's car stops working, and she doesn't really have the money to pay for it, so all of the guys are like, well, we'll fix your car for you, but you have to sleep with all of us. So it's basically all of them in like this relationship together, and just I feel like each one of the characters added something different to the story. And my favorite guy is probably Manson or Lucas so far. I haven't read the second one yet. I will be reading it in March because I loved these characters. My favorite kind of books are the ones that are really heavily character based. If you are going into this book looking for a really heavy plot, don't. It's mostly just following the characters and spice. That's really what this book is. But it was written so beautifully. I actually highlighted something I want to share at the end of this book. If you can get through the night, you'll see the sun again. I said, repeating the words he told me back then. Keep chasing the next sunrise. I closed my eyes, I exhaled. The night feels really fucking dark, Manson, but I'm still chasing sunrises. So cute. I love all these characters a lot, and I'm really excited to read the next book as well. So I gave this book 4.5 stars. It didn't give me that 5-star feeling, but I feel like the second book could be a 5-star read for me. So loved it. So spicy. Also, it's a dark romance, so as well, check your trigger warnings, please check those. And then the last book that I read was You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. So you're following Naomi and Nicholas, and they are engaged, they are set to be married, but they're having some relationship problems, and none of them wants to be the person to call off the wedding because whoever calls it off has to be the one to pay for everything. So they end up having these prank wars where my parents are being loud downstairs. they end up having these prank wars to try to get the other person to call off the engagement first. In the beginning of this book, guys, I thought I was going to DNF it. I was not vibing with the MMC at all, and this book just felt like very childish in the beginning, but as the book went on and their pranks and stuff started to make me laugh, I was starting to see a little bit of a spark between them. But I don't know, just something about both of these, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Something about both of these characters, I just did not feel their love 100%. I don't know, I felt like they were falling out of love with each other and none of them were like wanting to admit that. But like the ending was cute, the way that they wrapped it up. I just gave it, I think 3.5 stars, I think is what I settled on rating this book. Just because I don't know if I 100% felt the love there, even at the end still. There were some cute quotes that I shared. I actually did a video of me trying to finish my TBR for the month. I don't know when that's going to be up, before or after this. Not really sure. But there were some cute quotes at the end. I'm just not 100% sure these people were meant to be together. But I still really loved the story. It did pick up. I think after like 150 pages, I started to really love the story. There was this one scene where they like pull a prank on their parents, on his parents, or like they're like messing with his parents, and it just had me like bawling my eyes out laughing. It was so freaking funny. So yeah, this book was cute. It had a cute premise, but it's not going to be a book that I'm going to be thinking about constantly. So 3.5 stars. I have one DNF of the month. I started this book on my Kindle. It's called Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. I'll put a picture of it on the screen here. And I saw really, really good things about this story. But basically, I don't even remember the characters' names because the characters were so unlikable. I actually DNF'd this book, I think like 30-something% of the way through. But you're following this girl and her sister. Hey, Oliver. Alright, we're back. But you're following this girl and her sister is getting married to her ex-boyfriend. And the premise of that already like kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So they're getting married. They end up going, I forget where they went. It's like a getaway spot to prepare for like her wedding and stuff. But her sister was so unbearable. I could not stand her. Just the way that she was treating her sister and the people around her. She was being like a crazy bridezilla, and it was just stressing me out. And I didn't really like the love interest. I don't know, it just felt very sexual. Like it was just a physical attraction. Didn't really like it. Didn't really like any of the characters. So I did DNF that book at like 30-something%. Didn't finish it. And I heard really good things about this book, so I was really excited to read it. It just wasn't for me. And yeah, those are all the books that I read in February. This video is all over the place. But then again, I always say this, but like all of my videos are all over the place. And I think that that's one of my traits. My videos are just crazy. If you've gotten this far, thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what videos you want to see from me next. And yeah, that's it. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.